Wait as Facebook gathers me an audience. Let me see who we have coming on here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come on here, tell me where you are tuning in from in the comments section. On this video, we are live. Let's see. Okay, we have, hey, Patrick. Thank you for hitting the like button, the heart button, and telling me where each and every one of you are tuning in from. Hello, Scott. Hey, Denise, where are you tuning in from? Miami. You know, I feel like I'm meant to live in Miami, Denise. I'm serious. That's on my meridian chart. That's supposed to be like my Jupiter line. Get this. So astrocartography, I'm into it. I do it on the detoxintuitive.com. Any of you can get your charts read this way. It's funny, Denise pops up with Miami. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Hey, Larry, how are you? And astrocartography, my two places to meet like my husband are Maine, which I love Maine. I went there when I was 18 on the way to Canada, and Miami. Isn't that strange? I feel like I'm supposed to live in Miami, Denise. Maybe I should come stay with you. So, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Judith, Rocky. Someone's tuning in from Hawaii. I love it there. My mom carried me in her belly there. I got lost there, though. I was driving. You need to update the street signs there. Maybe it was the section I was in, but I love Kauai. Hey, Bob. Okay, you guys, so this is going to be really educational, actually. I first want to thank each and every one of you for the messages you have left me about my dog, and I just want to touch base on that real quick. So he is on the floor behind me. The other one is underneath me. They always have to be underneath me. Typical man, just kidding. And I have literally cleaned up clotty blood all day long. All around the house, I've been wiping up clotty blood. And he kept me up all night, hence my glasses. I do need them to see who's on here, but they're actually going to improve the eye bags that I have. But I am waiting for some test results that'll be back in about a week on him. And thank you for a few of you actually sent donations. I really appreciate that. It's a hefty bill this little guy's costing me, and I've got a clear quartz crystal on him right now, and I'm just giving him a whole lot of love and energy. He's got two situations going on, and I just want to thank all of you, but it has been a hefty price to pay. I haven't slept in, I think, 3 days, and I wanted to get on here because I wanted to do Wednesday's Wisdom and make this really special for all of you. And as you continue to come on here and tell me where you're tuning in from, and hit the heart button, what have you, I'm going to tell you what Spirit has been sending me downloads to say to all of you. And it's about siphoning, and the siphoning we get through intimacy, etc. And I'm going to go into that today, but first, I brought the heart chakra bowl out, and I'm just going to kind of cleanse our energy. I've also got some copal, which you can buy on the detoxintuitive.com. You can also buy a lot of the anointing oils. You can also go to my Etsy shop, the Detox Intuitive, and buy any of the jewelry you see me wear. But I want to get into this siphoning of energy, but I feel like we all need a real karmic clearing first, which is why I've got so many beautiful crystals and candles and things lit. And then I'm going to actually pick some reading, some cards on how we can actually end the siphoning of our energy. So let's just clear the energy real quick. this dies down, I hear an airplane in the distance, and it's almost like we're going to send what I'm about to speak of far, far away from us, right? So before I start this, just ask your ancestors to come in, you know? I usually say, Jesus of Nazareth, God, universe, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Mother Mary. I always call my grandmothers in because I feel like I'm led by them. Sometimes I call my dad in, but anyone who has crossed over, or any archangel that you feel you are guided by, call them in right now and ask them to enter this space with you, because I am going to get into pulling a couple cards, but I want to explain to you about siphoning energy and what that means. So the siphoning of energy, right? Once we come into intimacy with someone, once we come and we rub up against someone, right? We are able to actually tap in and siphon their energy. And, you know, women in particular are a portal door for this, right? Because women are open, men enter, and I don't have to get into it. And so, you know, I do a lot of things, and I work with a lot of clients on how to cord cut and cut the energy that they've experienced through intimacy with men out after that relationship is over, so they're able to move on to healthier and happier relationships. But I want to talk more about how we can pass on energetic siphoning, and it can be unhealthy, especially in the way of social media, right? So men have been mastering siphoning from women's creative energy for decades, right? Men have always been able to interact with a woman intimately and then tap into her creative energy, right? Now, sometimes men can do that without sleeping with a person, right? They can just do that. They have this kind of alpha male ability, right? Or they used to. It's actually fading because women are leveling up. We're leveling up. We're smartening up. We're getting wise, right? We're getting hip to the BS. And this isn't a hate on man thing. This is actually an embracing men thing. I love men, but I call myself the, the master of celibacy, because I, in my life, have gone like 7 and 8 years. I've had bouts of celibacy, and I've had one recently, and I am the master at celibacy in between relationships. I take my body as a cleansed vessel that is of the highest vibration, and no one's going to invade or that sacred space or tap in or siphon my energy unless I allow it. So I want you ladies to really take in what I just said, especially you that are in your 20s and 30s and, even 40s. It's so very important to be wise on who we allow to enter our sacred space. I just wrote a blog post on AndreaCox.com, and you can hop on over there and read it. It's called Sex and Ascension. And it's, the words flowed to me like water dripping, off a rock in the ocean. I was able to just like literally 5 minutes, and it was written. And that's because when you are clean and no one's able to tap into you, you vibrate high. Your creativity is high. Your level to write is high. Your level to put out there is high, right? But let's talk about siphoning and when it gets messy and ugly. And I'm gonna need some herbal drink for this, right? Cheers, right? Keep telling me where you're tuning in from. By the way, you can fill out the free health assessment on AndreaCox.com, and we'll find the herbs that are right for you. So let's clear that. Let's just clear that. Let's just kind of clear that. So let's say you're in a relationship with someone, right? You consummate the relationship and you end the relationship. Let's say you're a female. And then you move on, you get into another relationship, etc. But you're constantly feeling a draining energy. And when you feel that draining energy, there's a person that pops into your head. And it may be a person that you haven't even like looked back on for years, right? A lot of times men get bored in relationships, right? A wise man once told me, a man can be with the most beautiful woman in the world and he'll get bored of sleeping with her. Men get bored, men are visual, they go from the next to the next to the next. If you end a relationship and you don't do the proper cord cutting, which I actually just learned to do over the last 2 years, and now no one from my past can siphon into my creative energy at all, or anyone they're attached to. But I did that because I had a big lesson taught to me. So let's say you're feeling these feelings and they're not good feelings, like you're feeling like looked in on, watched, like, kind of stalked or what have you. Men have a tendency to siphon energy from women from their past that they felt either they weren't good enough, they didn't have enough money to take care of, they failed in the relationship. So instead of, being like, hey, I failed there, I'll just apply myself more and, I'll learn. They usually take those lessons they learned, which is fine. That's what we're supposed to do, is take the lessons we learn in relationships and apply them in our new relationships. But But a lot of times they have this thing where instead of just doing that in a healthy manner, they'll continue to watch the past partner. They'll watch them on social media from fake accounts. They'll see what they're writing, see what they're doing. And instead of using the lessons they learned, right, ladies? Tell me in the comments if you've had this happen to you. And in applying those lessons in their, hey, Bill, welcome, tell me where you're tuning in from. Applying those lessons in their new situation, they'll actually try to siphon the creativity and energy from the old partner, because that partner becomes their muse. That old partner becomes their creative, like, plug-in, right? That they go to every day to see what they're doing. That's siphoning. Now, karmically, that's not good. That's not good for the man or whatever. But what it also can pull in is, and this is why, my God, if you ever break up with someone, that's why, like, every photo is down, etc., from the past or whatever. You shouldn't put your relationships, unless you've been married for a few years, on social media, because, once the new partner finds out about the old partner, especially if the old partner is vibrating very high, they're highly creative, they're highly intelligent, even the new partner can start to try to siphon the energy from the old partner. Not healthy at all. So if you guys can relate to this at all, please, please, please comment in the section below. What Spirit was telling me before I did this video, I actually had a dream last night and it was incredible. I literally woke up at 3 a.m. with my dog bleeding all over the carpet. I just had the carpet cleaned. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to have the carpet cleaned right away again. And there's carpet upstairs, there's no carpet downstairs. But I was more concerned about my dog, but I kind of got excited because there were pieces of tissue coming out and I know he's expelling things and, but I sat and I started playing the singing bowls for him, and I could get choked up even saying this. And my guides started giving me downloads, and the word siphoning started coming in. Siphoning, sex, ascension, siphoning, sex, ascension, siphoning, commitment, sex, ascension. And I thought, what does all this mean? So I go down, I send myself a note on my phone I've been keeping downstairs while I sleep upstairs. And I wrote, okay, sex, ascension, siphoning, commitment. What's it all mean, right? There's a protocol, since social media is so relevant, right? Thank you, Leah, my client Leah in Maine, my beautiful writer client. I'm sure she'll relate to this video. Watch it from the beginning. There's a protocol that men have been able to tap into for years of siphoning from, people they have been with, and then applying these beautiful lessons that they need to apply in new relationships, but also trying to mold, right? And be critical and mold their new partner into what they lost because they feel like they failed, right? When in actuality, we're all just learning these lessons from relationship to relationship to relationship, and we're applying them in the new relationships. But here's where it gets unhealthy. And I'll never forget, about 9 years ago, I was in a relationship and he was gone doing something, and I discovered on his computer that he had like fake social media accounts to look at other women. And several women were from his past. And I thought, ooh, this is a red flag. And I didn't know what to call it then, but now I know. It's siphoning. It's the siphoning of the energy from your past. If you're on social media, if it's from a fake account or a real account, if you're a male or even a female, if you're a female, and I have clients that do this, and you know who you are. If you're a female and you're looking at your ex's partners, toxic. I've never in my life, the only time I've ever looked at one of my ex's new partners is when she came over to my social media page and started slamming me out of the blue. That's the only time. I don't have time for that type of draining energy. It's low vibrational. It's beneath me. But if you are a man and you are still watching women from your past, unless you have children with them and you have to interact with them, or if from a fake account you're watching several women on the internet that you haven't met, that's a siphoning of energy that's almost taking away from your current relationship like porn would. And I'm coming from a very loving place when I say this. There is a lot of, I am going to say it, men who have real serious problems. Siphoning is a good, yeah, I think is it spelled CYPH? Did I spell it wrong earlier, Leah? Is it spelled wrong? It's the way we get past this. This is what I work with a lot of clients on. A lot of clients come to me, they're hung up on their exes. I don't know really how that happens because that doesn't apply to me. Or they feel physically drained and they don't know why. And they've had, it's what I wrote in the article today. I wrote, I put right in the article, you can't sage or Palo Santo out an STD, and you can't sage or Palo Santo out siphoning from someone, because it's when someone is energetically tapped in to your energy because you have been intimate with them. So, there's things like yoni eggs and things like that we can use. Hi, Bubbas. Hi. But, on a more, grand scale, getting a cord cutting with me is great. You can find that at the detoxintuitive.com, and really learning there we go, we're reconnected. Sorry about that. Really learning the techniques on how to end this type of energy and put a stop to it is important. So I'm going to get one guidance card. Ooh, this is sticking out. Yeah. Wow. Perspective. No, none of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. Wow. The void. Look at that. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. So I'm going to kind of give this energy with this candle. I'm going to stick it right there. And this is going to be, so it's actually asking us to zoom out, right? It's asking us to stop giving attention to, right? Things that either, if you're a male watching this and you constantly watch people from your past, that's attempting to siphon, right? And if you're a female, you need to cut that energetic cord so they can no longer tap into you. They can watch, they can see everything you're doing, and they'll just look foolish trying to imitate it. Foolish, like they're trying too hard. So it's about, zoom out. Great advice, right, Leah? It's about tapping out of that and making sure as women that we do not allow others to tap into that energy any longer. right? It's a siphoning that should not be allowed. But furthermore, as women, we need to take a lot of responsibility on who we allow into our sacred space, into our bodies, right? I mean, there's clout chaser, there's ankle biters, there's people that are just trying to tap into your energy and whatever. And instead of saying, hey, you know, I learned this from this person and I'm really grateful for the lessons this person taught me, they'll try to siphon it for years and years and decades after you've walked away from them. So it's really important as energetic beings and as women for us to protect our energy against this type of siphoning behavior and say, you know what, I see what you're doing and enough is enough. And I'm going to inform everyone around you of what you're doing. And I know, because not only am I an energetic, high vibrational being who is highly intuitive, I actually can feel when you do this. And I want you to know that I know that you're doing this. And, you know, maybe some of you, you know, had to go to the lengths that I did of like hiring someone to make sure that I was, you know, right, that this was going on. But it's time to end that type of siphoning. And the way we can end it before it begins, right, is if you're a male and you find yourself kind of obsessed over someone from your past, or even just women online in general, zoom out, right? Zoom out. None of this matters. Common ground. And if you're a female, you cannot allow that toxic, low vibrational type of person into your space in the first place. And if you do make the mistake, look at it as karmic lessons you needed to learn. But we have walked into a new paradigm. So when we walked into the new paradigm, these kind of downloads like Spirit gives me, right? These kind of, reading something, these kind of spiritual downloads that I get where women are really, they're on it, they're able to articulate what is going on to such a degree that anyone watching would be like, oh, okay, wow, she knows. Okay, I gotta, oh my God. It can't actually occur anymore. So we are in the fifth dimension. We're no longer, well, a portion of us are. We're no longer in that third dimension crap where we allow people to linger and tap into us, and so they can take all that energy from us and try to put it into someone else, right? And use us as some kind of muse, right? And fuel their, whatever it is, their sexual tendencies, their creative tendencies, their business whatever it is. Stop spreading yourself so thin, ladies, that it takes a man showing up with a flower to get in your bed. Because every man you energetically connect with will be able to tap into your energy. And for men, you know, and I wrote about this in my blog post today, I'm like, there are women that like by the time they're 30, they've had 25, 30 partners and beyond. They have like 1 or 2 kids, don't know who the daddies are, and they're like, they've got a couple STDs, they've got herpes and chlamydia or what have you. And everyone that woman sleeps with, everyone, they'll all be able to tap into the same energy. So there's even been studies done that show that when a woman gets pregnant, her DNA, her actual DNA, I linked a website in my article today on AndreaCox.com. Her DNA, the DNA of the baby will actually show DNA of past lovers. That's disgusting. Keep it clean. It's too messy. It's too messy. Now, I love sex. I absolutely love sex. I absolutely adore sex. I'm not prudish at all. Anyone who been in a relationship with knows that, like, yeah, but I am very energetically choosy, and I learned this lesson after letting my boundaries slip 10 years ago, and it's actually the only regret I regret in my life is that one little slip that literally cost me years of siphoning that I had to finally bring to a very loud, like, end, right? So I hope this helps. Do you all understand this? I hope you do. Comment in the comments section, and hey Jeffrey, welcome. Hey Nathan, and let me know what you're feeling. And you know, men, be mindful, because you know, if you're with someone who has been with every joker in town, you know, and they're needing, you know, blood tests to see who the father of their kids are, or they've got, you know, diseases and things like that, you're getting all of that. It's like one big swimming pool, or cesspool, I should say, of, you know, people mixing their energies. So, you know, things are not always as they seem, right? You know, I meet people and they're like, wow, you know, you want to grab a tea or you want to grab a coffee? And I'm like, yeah, and that's it. Because I'm very choosy about who I allow into my personal space, into my personal life, and especially near my body. I learned a lesson years ago. I have put an energetic end to that. This person can't even enter my energy space. But, you know, be very mindful too, because if a man is really obsessed with a woman, his partner can also become obsessed with you. So be mindful, number one, of who you give your sexual energy to. Be mindful, number two, of being very, very counteractive of cutting that cord, that energetic cord, doing it literally daily, even if you have to do it daily for a year, and severing that tie. And also doing energetic light work, okay, not spell work, right? But light work on, you know, how to literally block people, right? Hold up a mirror to them that shows them their behavior, like, look at you doing this, like, we see you. That is powerful. And that is a gift that we all have within us. And I am grateful that my ancestral lineage allows me to receive these downloads and just come to you with them. And I think this was pretty beautifully articulated myself, and I'm going to pat myself on the back. And I wanted to thank you guys for all the prayers for Roger. I'm figuring it out, and he is my soulmate and my life partner. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Hey, do me a favor. If you guys can all get in the notes section of your phone, or write this down real quick. So AndreaCox.com, sign up for my newsletter there, AndreaCox.com. You can also read that awesome blog post that I wrote today on sex and ascension. And if you can also go to Andrea Cox TV, that's where you can get all my healthy stuff, my detox recipes, etc. And then hop on over to thedetoxintuitive.com. That is where you will find my more intuitive guidance sessions like this. I love each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all your support. And yeah, jewelry in the Detox Intuitive Etsy store. I'll see you guys real soon. Be well.